What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Kings related podcast, wherever you may be. Thank you, as always, for joining me for another edition of the show. And if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you give us a follow on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast platform you prefer. And if you're watching over on our YouTube channel, please hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. Lately the Kings have actually been competitive, going 500 over the last 14 games. Most of those came against other teams that are still holding their breath for the NBA draft lottery, but headed into tonight's matchup against the 37-34 now Charlotte Hornets proved to be no easy ask, as they were handed easily, and the 3-point shooting was the story of the night in this game, with Charlotte converting 26 of 55 from downtown, and the Kings just 9 of 28 from downtown. And for my fellow Kings fans, if you've got a stiff drink or a very soft pillow nearby, because tonight was, well, it was a massacre as the Sacramento Kings traveled to Charlotte, North Carolina, and were handed a 44-point loss by the Charlotte Hornets, 134-90. 44 points. That isn't just a loss. That's a structural failure. And we knew this road trip was going to be tough, being extremely short-handed, and the injury report looking more like a CVS receipt. But nobody expected a defensive collapse of this magnitude. So let's talk about how the Charlotte Hornets didn't just win. They tied a franchise record with 26 made three-pointers. And it felt like the Hornets were shooting into the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Kobe White, off the bench, led with 27 points, including 6 triples. LaMelo Ball was playing street ball out there tonight, hitting one-footer threes and no-look dimes like it was a scrimmage. And he finished with 20 and 6 threes of his own. And the rookie, Knipple, is turning into an absolute flamethrower. He added 4 more threes tonight, moving into second place for most threes by a Charlotte Hornet in a single season. And the Kings' defensive rotation was consistently 3 to 4 to 5 steps behind. And we know the Kings aren't great defensively. They haven't been all season. But when you're extremely short-handed, you have to be disciplined. But the Kings, they left the perimeter wide open all night long, and the Charlotte Hornets made them pay every frippling time. And the reality is, the Kings are just depleted. Like, you look at they got absolutely nobody. You're 19 and 54 now on the season, and it shows. But there were some bright spots in this game for the Kings. Daquan Plowden was a rare silver lining, putting up a team-high 22 points and showing some real heart in this game. Malik Monk returned to his old stomping grounds in Charlotte, where he began his career, play the role of Point Monk, who got his first start of the season, recording a career high 14 assists. But when your playmaker gives you 14 assists and you still only score 90 points, that tells you everything you need to know about the finishing of this game. And this loss now drops the Kings to 19-54 on the season, and still the fourth worst record in the NBA, and the fourth best odds to get the number one pick. The Hornets, meanwhile, a really good team. They're 10th in the East, holding that final play-in spot. And in my opinion, if Charlotte gets into the playoffs, they could make some noise in the Eastern Conference. And now Charlotte has won 4 straight and are breathing down the Atlanta Hawks' neck for that 6th seed in the East. And that's still a possibility for the Charlotte Hornets. And now the Kings continue their road trip, final road trip of the season, in Orlando on Thursday night against a Magic team that had a bad loss the other night against the Indiana Pacers, and who are currently playing right now against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, like, sometimes you're the windshield and sometimes you're the bug. Tonight, the Sacramento Kings were the bug who got absolutely punished by the Charlotte Hornets. Like, again, there were not much bright spots from this game, but Daquan Plowden, as I mentioned, continues to show the opportunity that he is getting, and he looks more and more like a keeper every time he gets the extended minutes. He missed the last game, but Plowden was the Kings' bench scorer in this game. 9 of 17 shooting. He had the team high in points. Maxime Reynaud continues to shine as this forgettable season winds down. And he had the first 6 points for the Sacramento Kings in this game. And he finished with 7 rebounds for this game. And Doug Christie stuck with Dylan Cardwell late, or Maxime Reynaud probably would have put up 20 for the 4th straight game, and maybe got his 17th double-double of the season. But because this game was out of reach early on, there was no point of risking an injury to Max, because that's part of your future right there, and a big part of next season with what you want to do. Devin Carter given an opportunity here, and he started for the Kings because no Killian Hayes, no Nick Clifford in this game, both out with injury. And I thought he played well with his opportunity again with this season winding down. The second-year guard lottery pick from a season ago, 18 points, dished out 3 assists in this game. He hit the glass for 3 rebounds, and that's what you get from Devin when he's on the floor. He also picked up a steal in this game, and he also made some winning plays, even given this blowout, lopsided loss that the Kings suffered tonight. And with Westbrook, Hayes, and Clifford all out in this game, you had Malik Monk was asked to play more of a true point guard role tonight. Got his first start of the season, and I thought he answered the call like he always does when he plays. And he got a career, as I mentioned earlier, 14 assists in this game to lead Sacramento, even though he struggled with his shot against his former team. Just 7 points, 3 of 13 shooting from the field. Dylan Cardwell, who has struggled, he'll to find the right speed to play at since returning from that ankle injury after the All-Star break. And that's not a good thing when you only have 8 active bodies for a game. And that's how many guys Doug Christie had available tonight. And Dylan Cardwell, 6 points, 11 rebounds. But the one thing about Dylan is he fouls too much. And he was in foul trouble for much of this game. He had 3 fouls in the first half. If he can limit the fouling and just stay on the floor, that will benefit him long term. So Patrick Baldwin Jr., he got the start, an opportunity for him to show what he can do out there. He signed a 2-way contract with the Kings back in February, and he's played well for the G League Stockton Kings and even had a moment or two in Sacramento. He started and played 27 minutes in this game. Nothing to be shocking about, but 5 points, 3 rebounds, and Baldwin, he hit the Kings' first 3 of this game tonight en route to the Charlotte Hornets blowout win over the Kings in this game. So Kings fall to 19-54 on the season, and the road trip continues on Thursday night in the world of Disney as the Kings take on the Orlando Magic on Thursday night, and we'll see if they can't get a win, because the Kings did drop to Orlando earlier this season, where Orlando set a new franchise record for threes made back in February, and Paolo Banchero dropped 30 points in that blowout win over the Kings. So Kings and Orlando on Thursday night, and then they go to Atlanta after that, and then Toronto, and then they wrap up this 5-game trip in Brooklyn against the Nets. Most likely, maybe the only win on this road trip, even though a win will not be a good thing for the Kings. So, but I do have some news. If the Utah Jazz win their next game, the Kings in all likelihood will be a top 4 team in the draft lottery, because that would make Utah with 22 wins, and it would be highly unlikely for the Kings to move down any further. So that's something to watch for the Jazz's next game. So Kings, they get destroyed from downtown. They lose to the Charlotte Hornets, who are a good team, and they took care of Sacramento in this game. But that will do it for this post-game recap of the Kings' loss to the Hornets. And if you enjoy this podcast, make sure you give us a follow on Apple Podcasts or whatever platform you prefer. We are a video podcast over on Spotify and on YouTube. So by all means, please catch that video feed. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. But until next time, we will see you Thursday night following the Magic and the Kings for another post-game recap. Thank you as always for joining me on the Kings related podcast, and as always, go Kings.